Hello and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the Professor Russ Stevens, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get started. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to
Happy
my
Thanksgiving.
fine furry
Thank you.
friends, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out in the world. We hope you guys have an enjoyable day, eat lots of food, and enjoy a wonderful company of family and friends. All right, boys, we got to start with the Boston Celtics. A huge game tonight, if that's possible, on the night before Thanksgiving. Celtics against Bucks. Is this and we always start with Russell. Russell, is this the kind of game you kind of find out where you are as a team, or is it too early and because of the changing personnel, again, these guys haven't gelled completely yet?
No, I think you find out where you are as of game 15. It's a bit of a litmus test. It's certainly not where you're going to be for the playoffs, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But it's a good it's a good litmus test. And I'm looking forward to it. Looks like everyone's healthy. Tatum's going to play. So go out and sort of make up for a couple of crappy games that they played in the past 4 days.
Yeah, Timmy, Celtics either wipe the team out or they play these really exciting games. They've won obviously a number of them and they've lost a couple, but they have not had a game where they have not been competitive. And, that's pretty extraordinary for any team in the NBA.
Yeah, the league is very good. I mean, we saw LaMelo. I was shocked at LaMelo Ball, how good he was.
Oh.
I mean, the league is just full of stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball is like the second coming of, Oscar Robertson out there, for God's sake. He was hitting from 6 feet outside the 3-point, like effortlessly,
Yeah.
There's stars. There's so many stars in this league. I mean, and any one of them, when one of them gets cooking, boy, they're hard to stop.
Yeah.
Little disappointed in the Celtics performance. I mean, they're obviously the most talented team on the floor. We're missing a couple of guys that game. I was hoping, weren't you hoping for D White to be out there to hit that game-winning shot?
Yeah, well, of course, he wasn't playing that game, for personal reasons.
Is he playing this game?
Yep.
Yeah. Joe, Timmy makes a great point. In the NBA, you really can't put your foot off the accelerator button, even for 2, 3, 4 minutes at the end of these games. Or like we saw against Charlotte, you'll lose even though you're up 10 points.
Charlotte was missing like 8 players.
Yeah.
And including old friend Scary Terry. They are missing 8 players, and yet they gave the Celtics a good run for their money and then beat them in the end. Celtics have a woeful record in overtime games over the last couple of years.
But we've said this, and it's true, guys, that the Celtics can only go as far as they're healthy, and they have at least all 6 of their main guys are in the rotation and playing. Take one out now, and I just think they're not a team that can compete for a championship.
Look, I think it makes it a lot harder. Now, remember, they were missing a couple guys and they beat Philly,
Yeah,
who was healthy. So you can do that in a game here and there, but in a 7-game series, they're going to need those 6 guys to be healthy.
Yeah,
I think it goes without saying.
Yeah. Is it already time for Missoula to do some management as far as these guys? It just feels like you can't play Porzingis 30 to 35 minutes a night and expect him to play 100 games.
Well, maybe not. If he let him be the determiner of that. If he feels like he's getting run down, let him go to the coach.
Right.
I mean, the athletes are supposed to be better now, better condition, better nutrition, everything. Why did we our whole life watch guys play the whole season and do fine? Why do they have to manage them now?
I don't know, but I just like Russ. I watched Porzingis play like I watched Rob Williams play the last few years. I'm always worried every time.
Every time he jumps,
whether he falls down, it just feels like he's fragile.
Yeah,
he played the physical game.
He really hasn't been fragile for a while, but he was fragile for so long that it just sticks with you. And these 7'3" guys, they get a little foot pain and they could miss 30 games. So I think Missoula's doing a decent job. These guys are getting nights off here and there. And I'd like to see the bench play a little bit more, but these guys are young. Most of these guys are pretty young, so they want to play. It's okay.
While we're on the subject of Missoula, was that run by Charlotte not begging for a timeout by the Celtics? I mean, with about a minute,
Well, a
40
minute
left.
and a half to go. Yeah, they were just.
Yeah,
he
Man,
really
I
screwed up
believe
there.
in my heart they do not lose that game if he put the brakes on that little run there and said, "Okay, boys, take a breather. Let's run a play."
Well, Timmy, they missed like 15 free throws. Holiday missed 2
Yeah.
free throws at the end that would have cemented
the thing about
game.
that game was they played like crap almost all night.
Mm.
And had they shot 70% from the free throw line instead of 64%, they win that game.
Yeah.
Right?
Do 90% of the other coaches in the league call a timeout with about a minute and a half to go there?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, he didn't call a timeout in the Philly game, had 2 shots at the end, and they had 2 timeouts at the end, and they won that game because they did have 2 timeouts at the end. So
yeah, but a minute and a half, Ross, we had a bag full of timeouts. Didn't we?
2. And then he
We
used
had
one at
2.
the
yeah,
end.
but you got to bring one timeout to the end of the game. You got to
Yeah.
have a timeout with the last 45 seconds.
So you can advance the ball. You have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a game changer.
I thought the game was screaming for a timeout with a minute and a half left.
Okay.
Oh, it was, and he let that opportunity pass. Once it changed possession there, you couldn't call a timeout then, and the cat was out of the bag.
I don't want you to think I hate Peyton Pritchard. I do not. I like Peyton Pritchard. I'm just going to say this. Peyton Pritchard in Red Sox lore is Bobby Dahlbeck. He eats up Bobby Dahlbeck eats up like middle relievers, guys that Heim gets all the time, and Pritchard can play really well against the Charlottes of the world. But you put Bobby Dahlbeck's not going to hit any home runs against the Yankees, Garrett Cole, and you can't play Peyton Pritchard against the Sixers, against the Nuggets. You can't.
How about the Bucks tonight?
But I mean, do you guys agree with that observation?
You're going to have to play him.
You're going to have to. Like, he's going to have to,
no choice.
or they're going to need to go get somebody who can, right? But you might as well do it a lot in the regular season.
But Timmy, do you think that other teams are licking their chops, the good teams, when they put Peyton Pritchard in?
I mean, not even the good teams. Every team, it's like seal meat for the Sharks. They automatically go to that. They go into a pick. They try to get a mismatch on him the second he steps on the court.
Yeah, they hunt him. They do.
I know, but it's okay to have one.
Dame
It's
Lillard
okay to have
tonight.
one bad defensive player in your lineup. When you've got 4
Russ,
Look at the Bucks. They've got Dame Lillard.
No
He
shit.
gets hunted
exactly.
like crazy.
It's terrible.
That's a great point. I mean, everyone. This is an exceptionally, that starting group is an exceptionally good defensive group. I mean, Drew, D. White, Brown. So of course he's going to be the weak link because those other guys are like all defensive category players, right? So of course they're going to gravitate to him.
But offensively, he doesn't.
Can he handle it though? Can he handle it defensively? How's his defense? I mean, it seems like he's doing okay. I mean, I don't know.
He hustles. He's always getting a lot of rebounds. I noticed.
Yeah.
But I question his offense. I mean, offensively against good teams, I don't.
He's streaky. He's either like the other night, 4 for 4.
Hey, Scotty, you hate Peyton Pritchard. It's okay.
No, I don't hate.
Say it. You can say it. It's fine. You haven't said a nice thing about him. You started this whole thing with "I don't hate Peyton Pritchard," and you're like machine gunning bad stuff at us.
You can't play offense. You can't play defense. You can't.
Okay, I hate Peyton Pritchard.
It's his haircut. He doesn't like his haircut.
I don't see any use for him at all. I don't even know why he's on the court.
Holiday and D. White can't play all game.
It feels like a make a wish program when he's out there.
I could see him becoming a very good shooter, a very good 3-point shooter. I don't know why. I do see he might have it in him. He's got the determination where the kid wants it bad. He wants it bad, and I think
But
he's
Timmy,
willing to put the work in.
Timmy, we have Hauser, who's a lot bigger and can get off his shot. You can't sit Peyton Pritchard in the corner, and he'll never get a shot off. I don't even.
But Hauser can't play the point. Hauser can't bring the ball up. Hauser can't pass. Can't start the
Oh no, I know, but
play.
I'm not
Good point,
saying that. I'm not saying that. But if you're looking for a guy, instant offense coming off the bench, hit the threes,
Okay.
like Timmy said, you're not looking to Peyton Pritchard for that. And are you looking for Peyton Pritchard to run the post? When Tatum's in there, all he does, he goes half court and he hands Tatum the ball and he runs away.
Hauser is just the replacement for Grant Williams over in that strong side corner.
You know, my response to that was everybody on this team can't be a superstar.
I know, but
We're gonna have
like
some
it that
middle.
way, though.
He's a middle of the pack
Scotty,
guy. That's what he is.
Scotty, all I would say is Peyton Pritchard says very nice things about you. Very nice. And this just seems mean. Like really mean.
I mean, look, the fact is that this regular season is not even foreplay for the. We might as well just skip to April and let's get to the playoffs. Okay, I'm not this stuff. It doesn't matter.
Wait.
First
We
seed
are
or
in
the
the
third
mid.
seed.
Scotty, we are in the mid-season tournament right
Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
But the thing to watch tonight, Scotty, is both teams are incorporating new players, how things are going. You know, Lillard being new with Middleton and Giannis and Drew and Porzingis, how they gelling with White and the two J's, you know?
Right.
That's where you want to see, like Russ said earlier, the benchmark for week 15.
Oh no, I
15.
agree, Joe. I think that this has been must-watch TV watching the Celtics. I've been thoroughly entertained, even at the losses have been great, exciting games. This is about as much fun watching the Celtics as it's been for since 2008.
now. Yeah, can we all agree we're in love with Drew Holiday?
Oh my God.
Great.
Yeah. Again, you have Derek White and Drew Holiday really are similar players in the sense they always know where to be in the court, the right spot. They just do all those little things that win you games.
Now, I would say that he did not play a very good game the other night.
No.
And
He missed
made some mistakes that looked Marcus Smarty in their character. So you know, he's gonna have a bad game. I thought he played very badly the other night.
He did he missed layups, free throws, turned the ball over, some bad turnovers. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
He hits that dunk, game over, right?
yeah.
That was against Memphis. Yeah, that was against Memphis. But
Oh,
he missed
sorry,
two
wrong
foul
game,
shots.
wrong game.
He missed two foul shots that would have won the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he went 0 for 2.
Yeah.
That's
And then Tatum
Grant Williams
just lost his guy there, and the guy went in for a dunk that won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For Charlotte.
Look, they were looking.
Tatum just fell asleep, and the guy slipped by him for an easy twos.
Would you agree they were looking past Charlotte and
Seems like it. Yeah, it seems like it.
Charlotte in November, you know.
Well, and Charlotte missing 8 players too. I mean,
No. Charlotte was not missing 8 players. Memphis was missing 8 players.
oh, Memphis. Excuse me.
Yeah.
They seem like interchangeable games in my head for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? They were very similar
Well,
games.
Towards the end of
Except
the
we won one, we lost one, you know.
Grandpa Gordon Hayward looks like he's playing at the Y. He actually looks like he gained like 15, 20 pounds
Yeah.
too.
He looks old too.
He doesn't care at all.
He's laughing his way to the bank, man. He's got so much dough stacked.
He's going to
away.
get
It's
another
ridiculous.
contract too. Just get used to it. He's getting another big payday.
No, not a chance. He's getting a big cut.
Oh no! I've heard a lot of teams are talking about signing him next year.
Oh my God. Oh, he's completely useless. Then what the closest
He'd be
part-
great as your 6th or 7th man.
He got blocked by the rim at the end of that game, if you remember. He has no jump at all. He
Can't jump over a piece of paper.
he could be considered the guy who has stolen the most money in the history of professional sports because he will be over $300 million in salary
A
after this.
lot of zeros in that bank account. A lot of zeros.
300 million. Would you take Hayward as a rotational guy coming off the bench right now, Russell?
Not at that. No, we're not at that money.
No, not that money.
If he was a minimum guy, and he was the 7th or 8th man,
Yeah,
you know,
why not?
sure.
Do you think he has something left to help?
He's got a lot of
but
savvy.
does he have 15 minutes a night on a good team where he just has to be a playmaker? Probably. Yeah.
Timmy, he could be a buyout guy.
Yeah.
You could actually.
Joe says he's.
Well, that's
getting a
what
lot
I
of money.
mean. A lot of people are already talking about him as the guy that the contenders are going to go for.
Oh my! Is Kelly
I
Olynyk still in the league?
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Is Kelly?
I wouldn't be surprised, Joe. It could happen. I don't
Where's
see what
Kelly
they're
Olynyk
saying.
play? Who does he play for now?
Kelly Olynyk plays for Utah. He's playing well, actually. Yeah.
Danny picks up all his old guys.
Yeah, no, he likes it. Yeah, right. All right, boys. We don't normally do this, but it's a fun night. It's the night before Thanksgiving. We're going to do a prediction on tonight's game. First of all, Celtics. What are they favored by?
Probably about 2 or 3.
2 or 3. All right, let's go to Timmy. Timmy, Celtics Bucks. Who wins?
I see the Celtics winning. I think they'll bring their A game tonight. I think they're the most talented team in the league.
Tatum was sick though tonight.
He's playing.
He's available, they say.
Sometimes he plays good when he's sick. I'll go 110-102 Celtics.
Oh, so I got to assume that would be under the.
That's well under, yeah.
That went under. All right, Uncle Joe.
I like the Celtics too. I just like they're at home. They come off a big road trip. You know, I know Milwaukee's been playing well, but I like Tim's under 2. I like say a little closer though, 110-105.
All right, Russell. Is it a shoot?
Wait a second. Wait, the Celtics are -6.
Ooh. Wow.
So I got the Bucks and the under.
Vegas knows.
Yeah. Russell.
Yeah, 2 or 3 point game. Celtics win. Going to be a last minute, nut cruncher, probably.
Yeah.
I guess Middleton only plays like 20 minutes now. He's on a restriction where he had off-season surgery. But Lillard and Giannis, that's a lot of offense right there in those two. They both average over 30 points a game for their career,
You feel like about half of the Celtics games this year are going to be, great matchups, games we're going to look forward to watching. I mean, this is really just the NBA is just incredible. Yeah, I think the Celtics wipe them out. I think.
Are we at the Bird Mikhail Parrish level of excitement about watching these Celtics games? I mean, like the expectation. You remember those days? We just expected the Celtics to go out and put on a show every night back then. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Are we just expecting a show every night?
That's a great question. I think these are great personalities. I think that we know these guys really well, like we knew that group. We're very intimate, of course, with the Tatums and the Browns and the Al Horfords and stuff. And now we're getting acquainted with the Holidays and the Porzingises. I mean, not to that level yet, but you probably, Timmy, to answer your question, I think you got to win a title before you get to that level.
What I meant was the entertainment level.
Oh,
you remember, like Scotty, you mentioned earlier, like it's must-watch TV now. Yeah, the Celtics in those years, we watched every game.
Of course. Yeah.
I kind of feel a little bit like that. Like I'm upset if I miss a game now.
I would put them third. I would put the Bird, Mikhail Parrish first. I would still put the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray second.
Yeah.
That was a special year. Those are pretty special years. I put these guys third, but they're right there.
But like anything, Joe, had the Bills back in the day won one title, then having lost the other Super Bowl titles actually enhances their resume, not diminishes it. we've been in finals. We've been in, with the Tatum, the Jason,
Conference finals.
You win a championship, and then all of a sudden it's greater than just the championship because of the success you've had. Would you agree?
Yeah, but still, what are the Buffalo Bills known for? Losing 4 Super
No,
Bowl.
I'm saying you have to win a championship, or
Yes,
Yeah,
you
it
have to.
doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
then
you'll never be remembered as even halfway good 10 years later.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, we got to go to the Patriots. It's a disaster. It's a complete disaster. And Bill Belichick is not handling this well at all. I mean, he's basically, he's hardly even, coherent in these press conferences anymore. He's not answering any questions, not that he ever did. Now he's saying that the starting quarterback on Sunday, you'll find out on Sunday. I mean, this, again, this is clearly the wheels have fallen off. I don't even know what this looks
Why
like.
do you need to know?
What's that?
Why do you need to know who the quarterback is?
What are you talking about? That's the.
We know Mac can't do the job. We're pretty sure that Zappy can't do the job. Throw Will Greer to the Wolves. See if he's
then say Will Greer is the starting quarterback, Joe.
No.
I mean,
Maybe he doesn't want the kid to be opened up to criticism, telling him he's going to fail before he even starts the game.
I mean, Timmy, aren't you as a leader supposed to act like we still have this all together? We have our composure. It's business as usual. I mean, he's basically going about things that this is not even how the NFL works.
Scotty, he's doing things the way you want. He's tanking.
No, he's not tanking.
I don't think Bill Belichick really cares what the press says. He never has. I don't think he ever will. He's going to do things the way he thinks is right for him and right for the team, and that's just how he rolls.
Yeah, but Russ, I mean, this is not good for the quarterbacks. Want to know if they're starting, which one is playing.
Who cares what those dumbbells think?
Well, and by the way, the quarterbacks may know who's going to start, and we just don't know it. But my take on this is Belichick's checked out. He knows he's done here. He's not tanking, but I don't think he's sitting there saying what's best for the long-term future of this franchise. And I think he knows he's not going to be here next year, and so he's just playing out the string. I don't think he really.
Yeah. The Crafts haven't spent a nickel for years now. For not just next year, they have the most money to spend, but it's projected over the next 3 years they will have the most money to spend in each of those years. The way the contracts have fallen.
Well,
there's a lot of money.
That's a positive outlook.
Yes, it is to anyone coming in. If you can get Bob Kraft to open the wallet, he never has. Not since Parcells.
It's unnerving for all players and anyone in the organization to know that all the fans are rooting for them to lose on Sunday.
Yep.
I mean, that's just unnerving, and this is only the 11th game of the season.
I saw an athletic poll of players about the NFL, and worse than it used to be when the Patriots were the most hated franchise and this, that, and the other thing. The Patriots don't even show up in this poll.
Yeah.
Belichick shows
I saw
up,
the same thing.
Belichick shows up second to last in one thing, and literally not another Patriot. The owner doesn't, the facility doesn't. They don't even register on this, either positively or negatively.
Like the good old days.
They're not relevant.
They're not relevant.
Right.
In the NFL.
Yeah.
Will Bob Kraft be okay with that and continue to?
No, I think.
I think that was the biggest problem. They should have been doing this 4 or 5 years ago, but the ego of Mr. Kraft and Bill Belichick got in the way of that, and they tried to win like 8-9 games these last couple of years when they should have been doing this rebuild that they're ready to do. They're going to have high draft picks, and they're going to have tons of money if they decide to spend it.
I thought that article in the Globe summed a lot of things up very well. They thought they had the master plan. I mean, a lot of people try to copy him. It was Brady. It was Brady the whole time.
Well, that was a large part of it, but you got to think that they came in last in actual spending in the National Football League last year, and they're due to finish next to last to the Cardinals this year in cash spending. They're not spending any money. You got to spend a few bucks to put a team out there.
So
Well,
that,
they
that's
talked about that article. The reason they used to get those seasoned veterans, good players on the cheap, guys looking to win a Super Bowl, because Brady was here. They're not even in the conversation for that.
But you never got anyone on the cheap. The only one that came on the cheap was Brewski. Remember,
okay.
he only took like $3 million a year.
No, Joe, but we used to get those guys, who were
They used to
deciding on
come
their lap.
here,
Yeah,
yes,
because
but they didn't come on the cheap. You got them to come
Okay.
here. Where now
they
they go to contenders. That's all
Yeah,
they go
had
to
a choice of
contenders.
5 or 6 teams, and we'd win them over and get them here.
Yeah, we were the best contender.
The long guy, who got here, who came, Howie Long's son.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
who's
various
driving?
guys?
Who's driving the anti-craft?
Oh, no media member is going to dare to say anything like that.
What are you talking
Because
about?
you immediately get banned from the facility. You say anything bad, if you're a player, you get traded. Just ask Vrabel.
That's a
Vrabel
hit
gets
piece,
packed
Joe.
out of
They
town.
literally-
just
they
for making
What are
a
you
literally-
joke.
talking about? That's a
Joe,
hit piece.
They can ban writers from the facility.
Yeah, Joe, that's a hit piece.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? When they talk about he's not spending any money, who's the guy not spending any money?
Well, those that's NFL figures and it's ESPN guys. No one local is gonna do that.
How
Only
I thought
like
that
the
article-
Ringer
I thought-
or the Athletic can get away with that stuff.
Who wrote that article that I forwarded to you guys? Is that
Ben
Ben
Bolin?
Yeah,
Ben Bolin.
that was not complimentary by any
No.
means.
No,
No, it's a hit piece on Kraft. I mean,
it was a Belichick dropped that, Scotty.
of course.
This is they're basically war. If anything's coming out against Bob Kraft right now and
Yeah.
making excuses for why things are bad in Foxborough, it's going to be Belichick blaming Kraft and Kraft blaming Belichick. Belichick wants another job.
right, exactly. So he's just going to say the cheap
But
bastards
it's
basically
set up
players.
for anyone coming in to really have some success and look pretty good. You've got a lot of things going for you going forward in the next 3 years.
Okay, so this hit piece comes out, Russ, and I think you're right. Is Belichick trying to get himself fired now so he has control
No,
next year of where he goes?
I doubt it. He doesn't want to get fired. That's humiliating. I guess he could walk away, but Belichick knows if he plays out the year, one of these 3 or 4 teams that we've already talked about a few times, the Commanders or Chicago or Buffalo or the Chargers or something, they're going to come knocking and Kraft will trade him for a 2nd-round pick or something. He knows he'll have his choice of, he can't go to another team right now. There aren't any other jobs available.
Well, who's going to be?
There will be.
I'm not confident in either Gerard Mayo or Bill O'Brien to be the head coach, which I would assume is the
Well, the rumors
way
are
the
Joe, is
chain of command would be.
It's Vrabel that he wants.
No, remember Bob Kraft demanded he get kicked out of town. They might have meant
They were playing nice in the luxury box during that game.
They may have mended fences, but remember they packed him off to Kansas City as soon as he made that crack about Patriot Place.
Who do you think is going to make? Do you think Jonathan Kraft has any say in how things are going
Oh, yeah.
right now?
Yeah, he's the
an
president.
influencer, probably an influencer, but Bob is still making the final call. I'm
Think?
sure. Yeah.
I think he's got a more standoffish approach. He's probably the better man to make the decisions than Bob down kissing and shaking hands in the locker room.
Yeah. All right, we got to go predictions. This is the biggest game since probably the playoff game with Brady in 2019. Literally, this is that important. You lose tonight against the Giants, you really set yourself up for a top 3 pick. And I mean,
maybe a top 2 pick.
And if you could get a Williams in May, there's a potential that they could be a franchise quarterback, and we can get on here. All right, let's go, Russell. Predictions.
They're going to freaking win. They're going to win by like 10 points. Of course they are.
And who's going to play quarterback?
Jones, Mac is going to play quarterback.
You think?
Definitely it'll be Mac because
Well, give
The
me a score.
Giants
Wait,
are a
hold on.
blitz
Wait,
happy
hold on,
team.
Joe. Hold on, Joe. Give me a score.
21-10.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Uncle Joe.
Okay, yeah, but I'm not as confident. I'm almost positive that Mac will be the quarterback, where the Giants blitz more than any other team in the NFL. You're going to need someone who can pick up the blitz, not someone who hasn't seen live action in a long time, like the other two guys. And I'd like Russell, like the under. The under's only 34 on this game. I think it's like the lowest you can get in the NFL. And they've been under just about every game, even when they lost 33-0. But I'll go 13-10 Giants.
Yeah. Oh, Giants. There we go. I like to hear that. Timmy.
I'll go the other way. 13-10, the Patriots. Vegas usually has a pretty good grip on this. Pats are -3.5. So I could see it, coming down to that half a point either way. I'll go Pats 13-10. And, one of those touchdowns would be a defensive, turnover inside the 20, and that's one of the only ways we score.
All right, I have the Patriots losing 20-9. I don't even know if the Mac Jones offense is capable of scoring a touchdown, to be honest with you. I seriously, I've never seen a quarterback worse in the red zone than Mac Jones.
But the defense could score a touchdown.
Well, they haven't. Have they scored a touchdown all year? No, right?
Yeah, they had one pick six.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they did. I just want to
They've laid
mention
the
before we
table
go to.
they've laid out the table a few times for Mac, and he's failed to produce anything.
I just want to mention this Tavai kid, who I just thought he was the biggest stiff when they got him. That kid's like, he's playing the best defensively as anybody on the team.
It could be a quick game, though, too, because both teams are going to be running the ball. Saquon Barkley's going to be getting it.
Is
So
the kid
it'll
DeVito
go
still
quick.
playing for the Giants? The kid who lives 9 miles down the street?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's the starter.
Oh wow! And was he even Division One?
I don't know. I never remember.
Yeah, I think he was.
He was. I mean, that's
Yeah.
an embarrassment too. I mean, these two proud franchises, how far they've fallen is just extraordinary. Actually, though, the Giants made the playoffs last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
Yeah, but then Daniel Jones.
They were a fraud team, though.
Yeah, and now Jones got hurt. He's not getting
Didn't
it.
Daboll get Coach of the Year for last year?
Yeah, that's the only thing we got for going for us is that Daboll is going to want to win that game.
Yeah, I just think this just feels like the game that the Patriots always seem to win when they're completely counted out. Something
To
goofy
ruin
happens.
everyone's plans.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I just got a bad feeling about that.
Oh my
So
God.
do we put this Patriots team in those, 1968 Harvard Stadium Patriots category?
No. They're not that bad.
Jeez, that was a pretty good team.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
I remember
66,
going
they were in
to
the
it.
championship
I
game. They were in
remember I
the,
was about
they were
9
in the
years
Super
old.
Bowl of that time.
My memories of those years is sitting in a puddle at Harvard Stadium in
What
a
was it?
33
Roof would
a
leak
30
there up in
a
the
33-degree drizzle, and they were losing 36-0 to Chuck Muncie and the Vikings at halftime. And Joe Cap was our one-legged quarterback.
I mean, Chuck Fairbanks.
And,
Not Chuck
And,
Foreman. You mean.
and I had to smuggle about 10 bottles of booze in my jacket for my father and my uncles. And I think I was hypothermic by the end of the game. So
So it was a good experience for you as a child.
oh, it was a great time.
No, this is more like this is pre Drew Bledsoe.
Pre-Bledsoe?
Yeah,
Pre-Bledsoe?
this is the early 19, right? I mean, this is
yeah, because remember the blooper bowl with them and the Colts, they were both like 1-14 going into the last game. Wasn't it?
Didn't Belichick go 5-11 his first year?
Yes.
2000, right?
But before Drew Bledsoe, they were terrible. They were 1-14.
Right. No, I know
And-
that, but the chances are these guys. I mean, if you were to say how many games they're going to win this year, I'd say 4 or 5, probably in the end. That's
You
that's
think
my
really? You
guess.
think in the next 7 games they're going to win 3?
Yeah.
I hope not.
Where are you seeing those? Where are you seeing those?
They play some crappy teams, you know. There's
Yeah,
some
they
easy-
do.
There's some crappy teams in that schedule. They
They
win
play
today.
Denver and the
I
Jets.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to win 5 games, but they could win 4. That means they've got to win 2 of 7. I don't know. That feels
Hasn't
reasonable.
Denver won like 5 out of their last 6? They've been pretty good,
Yeah.
and Russell Wilson's been very good.
Yeah.
You know,
They
Vegas
turned
had
that team
up.
around.
Vegas had the over under at 6, man. Like right off the bat, they knew something.
Oh, well, let's just hope for the worst. All right, boys. We're going to the Boston Red Sox, and oh my God, the Craig Breslow era is now moving toward a positive outlook. He trades Arias. We hardly knew you, Louise.
Yeah.
And he was going to non-tender him, and then he gets this guy. I just want to mention we have a great Portuguese audience here out there. Love the Portuguese people. He's the only guy from Portugal, basically in the modern era, to play in the major leagues. Pretty remarkable story.
No kidding.
This kid Campbell looks like he has a live arm. I looked at the comments. A lot of the Seattle Mariners guys, his fans were like, "I can't believe we traded this guy. Are you kidding?"
Wait. I don't know. A guy named Campbell from Portugal.
Yeah, he's from Portugal.
Campbell.
Yeah, you know.
Sounds like from Scotland.
Not a common Portuguese name.
No, it's not. No, he looks Portuguese. But I mean, that's fun. But look, you know, the biggest population of Portuguese people is
New Bedford and Fall
Massachusetts.
River.
Yeah, right, Massachusetts. So
Now
it's pretty fun. I like to see it. But that's a nice move. That's a good move. That kind of, I think it sets a tone on Craig Breslow era that he knows how to make a deal and clearly takes advantage of some, right? I mean,
I'd like to get the second best player in Portugal's history for Alex Verdugo. That'd be good.
will the Yankees take Verdugo? Because clearly they want Torres, the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And the Yankees want to get rid of Torres, but it's the two of them don't want to deal with each other, even though that seems to be the best deal for each team.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yankees need outfield and the Red Sox need infield.
Timmy, it's a fait accompli that Verdugo will not be with the Red Sox.
I don't think he's their biggest problem.
He isn't, but the manager hates him.
Well, you know, he's going to put personal things aside then for the good of the team, because I don't think he's the most glaring issue that we're facing.
Well, I think he is, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, this is a guy who hits like 12 to 15 home runs a year. He gives up so many up at bats. Oh my God.
He was their best defensive player though last year, I have to say.
But he's a dog in the bases. He's a dog running the bases. He's the guy gives up lots of up at bats. He clearly doesn't get along with the manager. You know what you got there, and you need greater production from the right field position.
I just don't think he's the glaring problem. I think there's plenty of other issues in the forefront than Alex Verdugo.
Look,
Like, if we went through the season with Verdugo still in right, I would not be upset.
They have a surplus in the outfield. They need to get pitching. I mean, there's, you know, these, and he's going to be a free agent after 1 year. You know, he needs to go.
I'm fine if they move him. I just don't think he's the most glaring.
Yeah,
issue.
well, yeah, and he's lefty. We need right-handed bats. We're losing Duvall and Turner, and we don't have much. You know, all our big hitters, Devers, Cassis, they're left-handed hitters. We needed right-handed bats.
I'd be perfectly happy if they traded him for a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's like, you know, oh my God, you know, Alex Verdugo's the reason the Red Sox stink, you know.
All right, Russ, Aaron Nola stays with the Phillies. He was rumored to be one guy that they were going to pursue. I didn't hear any chatter that they even offered him a contract. Is this all going to be about the Japanese pitcher? And how disappointed are we going to be if he signs with like the Cardinals?
Well, I think probably what they're going to try to get done first, right? And then go to plan B and plan C. So they have to start somewhere. And maybe they just weren't comfortable starting with Nola or, you know, at that number. That's fine. I mean, I wasn't going to start doing backflips over Aaron Nola. You know, he's a good pitcher, but I'd rather have Snell. I'd rather have Yamamoto. one of the top three guys.
I think
I
Yamamoto.
I don't think we're getting Yamamoto. It just doesn't look like it. The two New York teams that really want him, and they're in a battle between them to get it. And he says he wants to go to the big city, and Boston's not the big city.
So it feels like okay. So it feels like we're going to end up getting hopefully a Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell. You're going to end up getting one of those two, and then maybe trading for another starting pitcher. Does that look like it's probably going to be in the team?
Yeah,
I
think
don't care
that's
how you
what-
get them, but you have to have two, a number one and a number two starter. That's what
And
I
a
think.
number three wouldn't be bad either. You combined the guys you don't like, Verdugo and Tanner Houck, and cobble up, something to get you a reasonable starting pitcher,
I'll tell you, I think the Red Sox going to land Ohtani.
Oh,
I would love that. I think that's
I
more.
really do. I think they're in such a desperate situation, and they're in need of some giant shot of energy into this
Fan base.
organization, something to get this, dying for a star on the field. I mean, we're used to having stars on the field. We don't have any stars on the field anymore. We're desperate for a star. I think they're going to get him. I think they're going to go all out.
that's a pretty remarkable lineup. If you have Devers, Casas, and Ohtani, three guys in your lineup, that's pretty damn good. And then, you're right. The lineup starts to come together if you put Ohtani in there. You have a guy like Duran, you have Yoshida. All of a sudden, you're starting to look pretty damn good in the starting.
And,
Now, my
and a
question
year
is,
from now, you'd have another pitcher too.
Can
Maybe.
Ohtani still play the field, or would he have to DH?
DH.
DH, he can't throw the ball.
Yeah, he can't throw, right?
Has he had the surgery?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
So can he? So he will not pitch at all in 24.
Yeah,
Right.
year and a half usually.
Or throw the baseball in any way.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be in a rehab program, but he's not going to be.
So that kind of, okay, with the idea that he's coming back in 25 as a pitcher, then does that kind of explain that they'll probably only try to get, if they sign Ohtani, they'd only try to get one other starter?
Possibly, but remember, sales contracts off the books after next year. So, you're in some way.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So I don't want to, again, I don't want to hear about one starter and how they're going to fill in the blanks with other people and wait for Ohtani. I don't care about the money. Pay the money.
Yeah.
Go. Let's go.
We can't have another year of 2 bullpen games every week.
Right.
2 a week. You can't do that.
No.
All of a sudden, I saw some piece, someone tweeted that has some juice and said that the Red Sox are only looking to sign pitchers at like 10 to 15 million.
Then they're not serious. Then they're not serious about competing for a
Then
World
you're
Series.
getting Corey Klubas and Rich Hills, and maybe a Michael Walker will pop up for you, but you're not getting the cream of the crop.
Yeah. I mean, Ohtani would
And they're
be,
only stopgaps too.
in the history of you guys watching the Boston Red Sox, where would Ohtani stand in as far as impactful acquisitions? Obviously, the future, we don't know what it's going to be. As far as acquiring someone that impactful in the prime of his career.
I mean, I would put him in
Pedro.
the Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez level. Like, get basically the top available guy in the league.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Russ.
But it's really right, and Joe, it's really a move you have to make to because otherwise.
Well, I think that's the more likely thing than the Yamamoto I think they're out of the Yamamoto sweepstakes. The heavy hitters are really going at it there.
The Red Sox not a
that's
heavy
where
hitter?
they can, like Tim says, they're dying. They need a star. They're paying Devers a lot of money, but he's not a star. Doesn't even speak English. He's not someone the fans relate to.
No,
Ohtani
they
doesn't
need
speak
someone
English
like
either, by the
Ohtani.
way, so
What's that?
Ohtani doesn't speak English either, by the way.
Oh, he
so-
doesn't.
Oh yeah, he speaks the universal language. 45 home runs,
Right.
top pitcher.
Maybe
You know,
50 home runs.
I bet Ohtani strikes me someone who will be speaking English in a couple of years.
You would
Maybe.
hope. I mean, he would profit greatly, financially by speaking English.
I think he's going to profit greatly, no matter what.
But the energy level of Ohtani playing for the Boston Red Sox would just be much more extraordinary.
You know what it would tell? You know what it would say to the fan base? We're trying. We're trying.
Yeah.
That's what it would say to the fan base.
Oh, yeah,
What
but
is it? He's gonna get like 50 million a year.
Mhm.
And he's not even gonna play for you next year, really, other than DH.
In 3 years, they'll be making 65 million.
Yeah.
Look, it would change our attitude completely about the Red Sox, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I think they desperately need it, Scotty. If they don't do something major, and we have another
I'm with
season like
Timmy.
last year,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
not
with
going to
Timmy.
be.
They don't
It's gonna
have
be
any
bad.
stars like you don't like Verdugo, but he was one of the big stars for that team.
well, he's a big name. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Guys, if this last season wasn't a wake-up call for this ownership, then nothing will. And
Yeah.
if they're not going to compete for Ohtani and get two pitchers in here, they're not serious about being a championship contender. They're going to tell us everything we need to know about this franchise if they don't compete for the best available players.
No,
They
I
can
don't want
afford-
competition. I don't want competing, Russ. I don't
No,
want
they
the
have
Red
to
Sox
get. No,
starting-
they have to land them. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Look, I've joked around. I'd go to Ohtani and say, write a blank. Here's a blank check for a 3-year contract. Just fill it in. That's what
Yeah.
I would do.
because
But,
Sam Kennedy loves to say we almost signed the guy.
yeah,
You know,
we are the big
We
boys.
had the
We're one
same
of
bid in. He just liked that.
They are financially one of the bullies on the block. I mean, they have the money, they have the revenue, they have the fan base, they have the TV network. They have everything they need to go out and play financially with any team in the league.
Yeah, no, great point, Timmy. Look, this is the year this is the offseason. They set the tone of who the Red Sox are going to be moving forward. You're either going to be a mid-level market to a small market team, or you're going to continue to be the big boys. And they have to sign somebody big to prove that. But also as far as recruiting of top players moving forward too. Again,
that's right.
these players don't want to go to teams that are going to stink.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Ohtani has said the most important thing to him is the fit, how it fits. And I think he would really like hitting in Fenway Park. That wall was just made for a guy like him.
Oh,
I mean,
And
he'll have 45 home runs and 65 doubles.
And you know how we elevate our athletes in this town, right? I mean, Nomar was a god. Man, Big Papi was a god. I mean, you hear it like players go to other cities and they don't get the recognition that you can get playing in this city. We glorify our athletes in this town.
Well, I told you last year, I said if Heim mentions the word Chris Sale during the offseason, we're screwed. And he did exactly that. I don't want to hear Craig Breslow even recognize that Chris Sale's on the team. Seriously. That would tell me right then that he's just selling us another bill of goods. And we're just going to make deals for mid-level relievers. And
Do you remember who our starting pitcher opening day was this year?
Oh, Corey Kluber. Oh yeah, Timmy and I were there. We remember. And the season ended.
And
like
that was the best
82.
game he pitched all year.
And no, we were already.
The
The
season
season was already over.
It was over day one. We both looked at each other.
All right, we go to the Boston Bruins, and it really has been a fun season. Other than, you guys didn't even answer my text. The Bruins are the worst team I've ever seen with when the other team has an empty net. Would you
They
agree?
are.
I didn't see it,
They are.
Scott.
Statistically, they are. Over the last couple
Oh,
of
they
years.
are? Okay. I didn't see anything.
They have given up more goals in empty net situations than any other team.
That's very clear.
Who watched
Well,
the
it
game?
also means you're ahead a lot too.
Mhm.
Who watched the game here?
Yeah,
Did
I
you
watched
think that puck was getting out of the zone and all of a sudden it was still in the zone?
Yeah.
I mean,
Swayman for giving up 5 goals. Swayman had a hell of a game. I
he had
thought.
like 50 shots or something like that, right? I mean, it's crazy.
But look,
I
we
mean, the
lost.
goal. I'm listening to these guys on the radio barking to trade one of these goalies. They are the only reason, and I believe it's part of the rotation and the rest that the Bruins record looks like it looks. I mean, they're not outplaying other teams by much. I mean, a lot of these games,
No,
the pucks, the ice is tilted our way. This goaltending and these guys on the radio, I don't know what hockey teams they played for or whatever. Just you don't mess with this duo they got there. You just don't mess with it.
Well, it's tough to talk hockey on when you're on radio and stuff. So
it's a
naturally
good game they got tonight. Is the Panthers, the team that beat them last year in the playoffs?
Well, they didn't look.
I think the media in Boston is like they just look for anything to jump on and jab about. You know what I mean? And this trade a goalie thing is just like they got nothing else to talk about, so they're jumping on.
Well, I think the positives, they didn't look small against Tampa. Like they seem to always look small
Right.
against them.
Right.
So I think the acquisitions have been good. This is a very solid team. Wouldn't you agree that obviously record-wise, but just in general, the expectations and what we're seeing, they have far exceeded what we thought they would be.
Oh
Yeah, I mean, even a brutal quote loss the other night, they still got a point, right? So,
Yeah.
they've gotten their worst losses of the season. They got points in the most disappointing.
The Montreal
point.
game too. They
Yeah.
picked a point up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty freaking good team. If you're in your worst moments, you're still getting a point.
Well, look at the Celtics and the Bruins that played a quarter of the season and have never been out of one game.
That's right. Yep, that's
They
right.
have been competitive
Yeah.
in every game. Not one wipeout, not even like Bruins. What they have one regulation loss?
One regulation loss.
Yep.
That's
And that
pretty
was,
freaking good. We're almost into December here.
And what was that against Vegas or something where they lost at the end? Something it was
Yeah,
a
they
close
gave up a
game.
lead, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But it was against a good team, I believe.
Look, my theory is that the Bruins are playing really good playoff hockey during the regular season.
They're physical. I mean, Tim must love them because they're physical. Charlie McAvoy's throwing his weight around every night. Coyle's physical. Forbert. You've got a bunch of players who don't shy away from contact. They
Frederick.
played a hard game.
They're physically big. You
Yeah.
go across that lineup, they're you don't realize how big they are. You watch
Yeah.
them out on the ice, but they're 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", 6'3". There's some big boys out there.
Hey,
Yeah, the defense especially.
We saw with
Yeah.
the Jack Jones arrest for the Patriots that here it is. We thought for sure the next morning that he'd be gone. Ultimately, he was gone because he was a troublemaker. Weeks later, and didn't produce on the field. Why is Milan Lucic, after what he was accused by his wife of doing? Why is Milan Lucic still on the team?
He's taken a temporary absence, and he's entered that program in the league.
Yeah,
The
I think
Players
a lot
Association.
of these teams and leagues, Scotty, will follow the criminal justice process a little bit and wait for it to get to a point where there's a little bit more of the legality behind it. But he won't play again for the Bruins.
He's not playing again. Shirtless and drunk is not the way to get your mugshot taken.
No.
Yeah, I don't understand. I understand is we talk about with Timmy. You understand. It's just a guy like him, alcohol dependent, and then just not able to control his emotions when he's under the influence.
Some people are nasty drinks.
Yeah.
Because we all have someone in our life that's just a nasty drink.
Everything
Some people get happy, some people get angry, and
He thought she stole his phone.
Yeah, they usually take it out on their brides or their significant others. Unfortunately,
Does this take the franchise after that ridiculous signing last year? I forget the kid's name, and then all of a sudden, you bring back a Lucic who has a history of doing this. This is not the first
Oh,
time.
look,
he's
everyone
done-
cheered Lucic coming back for no other reason than bring back the old glory days a little.
right.
No one, said it was a bad move at the time.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
has character
you
issues. He's
can't
done this
predict this
before,
guy.
Joe. He's done this
What?
before. He's done this before. I don't know. They said then girlfriend. I don't know if it's been this was
that was years ago, wasn't it? 20 years ago, something like that.
no. I think it was
Whatever.
2011 or something.
Well, it was a good while ago. I mean, he hadn't been into anything like this in a long time, and I think there was no charges filed in that before too. So I don't think you could really see this coming, Scotty. This guy had a pretty clean
Right.
record
Yeah.
throughout his
To me,
career with the
right.
Bruins.
I'm
He
with
had a
Timmy.
dust up, whatever, an
Yeah.
argument. I mean, I don't think and he was.
No, I understand, but
he was a massive fan favorite here for years.
I know, but to
And
bring
he'll
out
be quick to dump. He's going to be easy to dump because everyone knows he wasn't adding that
Yeah.
much to the team.
Like Russ,
But we
like
just
Russ said,
liked having him back,
Yeah, you're not going to see him on the ice again for the Bruins.
the bottom
Yeah,
line
Scotty,
is.
to me, this is just about how do they respond now, and do they do the right thing? And they don't have to do the right thing within the first 12 hours, but they have to do the right thing
Yeah.
so that this guy is not on the ice anymore. And they will, I'm sure, as soon as they feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
give him his
I'm
money
sad
and
for him. I'm sad for
away.
his wife. I'm sad for everybody. It's a terrible situation.
the kids were there too.
They're not going to they won't get divorced. They'll end up staying together. You
Yeah.
watch. Hopefully he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah, just again, to bring back a fringe player, and we were questioning if he had anything left, and to have this embarrassing incident happen, it's just again.
Scotty, I don't think that I'm pushing back. I don't think the two things are related. The fact that he
Yeah.
was a fringe player
Yeah.
doesn't feel pertinent to the fact that he got drunk and assaulted his wife. Like,
Yeah, he actually when he did play, he showed he had a little gas left in the tank. To tell you the
Yeah.
truth, he didn't look out of place out there by any means.
Yeah, I know, but it ended up being a bad signing. I mean, the bottom line is,
But,
Sure,
they, they shouldn't have picked the guy
as a
up.
league minimum, nothing.
The guy was embarrassing the franchise. They got a lot of positive things going on in Causeway Street, and we didn't need this dumbbell doing this stuff. So again,
But Scotty, one little more pushback. I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. I
Yeah.
really don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well-
it looked like a great public relations move bringing him back.
Yeah.
Made everyone happy. The season ticket holders were ecstatic.
Let me tell you, the place would have gone nuts the first time he dropped his gloves this year. The place would have gone berserk.
yeah. I know.
Unfortunately, dropped his gloves in the wrong place.
I just have a residual, to be honest with you. Like I mentioned, that the whole Jack Jones thing really gets in my craw that they didn't first of all, they didn't immediately cut him. Second of all, they clearly cut a deal with the Patriots influence, the Massachusetts prosecutors to give him a cush deal, and he spent no time in jail when those were 4-year mandatory.
I think that was more. He had that woman's a heck of a lawyer that he hired. She's a tough
but he has
boy.
they had the Patriots.
he had a prior. This is apples and oranges. This guy does something stupid every 2 months, and they stuck with him, right?
Yeah.
I'd say the Patriots have a much different track record in this stuff than the Bruins.
They do.
But would you agree this is a dangerous precedent that is being set, moving for the Boston teams, that they are not pulling the trigger on these guys quicker? And again,
Scotty,
they're going to do it.
Well, he's
You're gonna
not
cut
on the
him,
team,
Russ.
Scotty.
You're gonna cut
I
him, but
don't
it's just
know,
cut him.
like, what's pulling the trigger in the first 5 minutes, in the first 5 days? I'm sure that, look, if they bring him back, I will go bananas. But the fact that they haven't expelled him from the team yet, while this thing is at least going through a little bit of a legal process, I don't have a problem with that.
Do you have a problem with the Jack Jones situation?
Yes, it's a totally different situation. Jack Jones did something stupid every 2 months, did something obviously stupid, went through the legal process, got charged with the crime. They should have dumped him, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know. Again, it's just shocking that right. I was just shocked by that. And again, Milan Lucic, has he tainted his reputation forever as a Boston Bruin?
I guess.
Probably, but
I don't even really think of him. I mean, he was a long time ago Bruin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he
had
was
a nice
just
little run.
voted one of the top 100 Bruins of all time.
that was
Yeah, but he
2011. That's 12
was-
years ago.
He was a great player when he was here. He was a fan favorite man. I loved him. This town loved him. He was fun to watch.
He was the king of the empty net goal. Remember, he got more empty net goals than anyone in history.
Yeah, but he
Inexcusable
was not going to
behavior.
get his number retired or anything. He was He
No.
won a
Never
championship.
would.
He was a good player.
Inexcusable behavior from these guys. I just, it's
Scotty, no one is arguing with you that it's inexcusable.
Oh, I know.
Nobody.
I know.
Nobody.
I know. No, I know I'm not. No, I just want these guys gone. And the first sign of trouble like this, especially when, I just want these guys out of here.
But what if see, they got to protect themselves legally too. If they just arbitrarily fire him with cause, and then it turns out she changes her story and there's no cause,
I
then
know.
what happens?
Yeah, what I think about fringe players. I don't like fringe players. I like superstars. I like good guys who play really well.
Daniel Nava.
And I hate all those kind of guys. I know Timmy loves those kind of guys. I want the best players on all of my teams.
But we like a few dirt dogs too.
Yeah,
we need a couple of dirt dogs.
I like all-star teams.
I loved watching Lucic pound people into dust. What can I say?
He had a great
was
right
entertaining.
hand, that's for sure.
Oh my God, he was a jackhammer.
Well, that's our show for tonight, boys. We got to watch the Celtics. It should be a very exciting night. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah,
I want to thank the fellas.
all right.
Last I looked, they were winning.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I want to thank the fellas for a great show. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune again next Thursday night at 7:00 for another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy